Rule number 133. This rule goes with present perfect continuous tense. We should use present perfect continuous tense to express an action that begins in the past, extends to the present, and may go into the future with the prepositions since and for. What are the two prepositions, since and for? You may wonder if you remember the last rule of present, the last use of present perfect tense. Actions begin in the past, come to the present, they stop there. Then we use a present perfect tense. But here situation talks about actions begin in the past, come to the present, may go into future. Then we have to use present perfect continuous tense. I started the session at let us say 5:15. Now 5:30 I'm teaching. I will teach till 5:40, 5:45. Someone asks me, "Sir, what are you doing?" I may say casually I'm teaching. But to be very specific, I have to say I have been teaching since 5:15 or I have been teaching for the last 15 minutes. Look at the example. They have been writing for the last 2 hours. There's one important aspect here, the word last. Here we can also use past. You can say they have been writing for the last 2 hours or they have been writing for the past 2 hours. Both mean the same. Native speakers prefer the word past. They have been writing for the past 2 hours. She has been making a special dish since some time, 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. She has been making a special dish since 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. She has been making past, present, and may go into future. Very important. In conversation English, how do we use this? Imagine you see your friend at the bus stop. You ask the question, "What are you doing?" That person may say, "I'm waiting for the bus." Next question, "How long have you been waiting?" "I have been waiting for the last 15 minutes." This is how the conversation goes. Rule number 134. This is also very important from the exam point of view. As I told you guys, tenses, there are two dimensions which are important from the exam point of view. One dimension, rules. Second dimension, uses. Based on the time phrases, based on the context, you should be able to decide which tense has to be used. When there are two actions that happened in the past, one after the other, we should use past perfect tense for the first action and past tense for the second action. Imagine two actions happened in the past. For the first action, we should use past perfect. Second action, we should use past tense. And here we use four conjunctions. What are the four conjunctions? One, before. Second, by the time. Then the third one, when. All the three, one group, we have to use past perfect before these words. And what is the last one? After. If we use a conjunction after, we should use the past perfect tense after the word after. Very simple, 3-1 group, before, by the time, when. We should use before. After, we should use after. Imagine last night some movie started at 9:30 and I went to the theater at 9:45. Which one is a first action? Movie started. Which one is the second action? I went to the theater. How do we express in English the same thing? The movie had started. First action, past perfect. The movie had started before I went to the theater. The movie had started by the time I went to the theater. The movie had started when I went to the theater. They all mean the same. But if I have to use the word a conjunction after, I went to the theater after the movie had started. Same function. First action, past perfect. Second action, past tense. I went to the theater after the movie had started. Only the position has changed, but the function is the same. And many exams they've given questions based on this. Look at this example. They had started the program before I went there. First action, they started the program. Second action, I went there. First action, past perfect, they had started the program. In the exam, they may give, they started the program before I went there. Under pressure, if you don't notice, the context talks about two actions that happened in the past, one after the other, then you cannot spot the error. But the moment you read the sentence, they started the program before I went there, then you have to tell yourself, okay, this context talks about two actions that happened in the past, one after the other, and you have to recollect the use of past perfect. First action, past perfect. Second action, past tense. The movie had started by the time I went to the theater. That's what I was talking about. The movie had started by the time I went to the theater. This is very important, not easy under pressure. Let us go to rule number 135. What is rule number 135? Past perfect continuous. The other day I told you guys we have 12 tenses broadly divided into two groups. Six basic or simple tenses. Many candidates know, many language learners know, they are familiar, easy. And the six perfect tenses. Only a few know. Among the six perfect tenses, present perfect continuous, past perfect, they have been touching. They are important, we use regularly, and so they have given many a time. But the last three outside no one uses. Past perfect continuous. You may ask, sir, why? They substitute with past continuous. Future perfect they don't use. Why? They substitute with future tense. Same way, nobody uses except a few professionals. Future perfect continuous outside. They substitute with future continuous. Keeping that in mind, in the exam, imagine some competitive exam, they want to make the paper very tough. They may use past perfect continuous, future perfect continuous. Only a few students can answer. And once I explain rule number 135, I will tell you how they test your knowledge. We should use past perfect continuous tense to express an action that had been going on or that was going on for some time. This is the most important thing. For some time at a given time in the past. At a given time in the past, some action had been going on. Then you should use past perfect continuous. Here, the most important thing you have to remember, for some time, that means a time period. They had been reading for 2 hours at this time yesterday. Imagine the time period for 2 hours is not there. Then we should use past continuous. What are we supposed to say? They were reading at this time yesterday. I was teaching at this time yesterday. I had been teaching for an hour at this time yesterday. It makes a lot of difference. He had been driving the car for an hour. This is a time period. At 5:30 p.m. yesterday. Imagine for an hour is not there. Then we should use past continuous tense. We should say, he was driving the car at 5:30 p.m. yesterday. How do they test your knowledge? SBI once they gave a question. She was teaching physics for 2 years when he met her. Something happened in the past. What happened? He met her. That time some action had been going on for some time. For some time means how long? 2 years. And many students thought she was teaching physics for 2 years when he met her. Nothing wrong. But the sentence is wrong because of for 2 years. So, what is the correct one? In the given sentence, it is past continuous. We have to use past perfect continuous. So, what is the correct sentence? She had been teaching physics for 2 years when he met her. There's only a few can answer. And the most important thing, the time period. No time period, past continuous. Time period, past perfect continuous. Imagine yesterday I started the session at 5:15. 5:30 I was teaching. I taught till 6. And what is the given time in the past? 5:30. If someone asks me outside conversational English, a typical person, a typical reply, what were you doing at 5:30 last evening? Spontaneously. People, anyone for that matter, a person may say, I was teaching, I was reading, I was playing, which tense is this? Past continuous. But if this is a situation, a person who is good at English, extremely good at English, or a professional will say, what were you doing at 5:30 yesterday or last evening? I had been teaching for 15 minutes at 5:30 yesterday or at 5:30 last evening. I had been teaching for 15 minutes. That 15 minutes very important. And this only a few can handle under pressure, because usually people don't focus on the time period. I would like to reiterate, no time period, some action was going on in the past, past continuous. There's a time period for some time going on in the past at a given time. We should use past perfect continuous. Coming to rule number 136, future perfect tense. Usually, what happens when I teach future perfect, the next day some students come and say, Sir, my friend says this is wrong, my manager says this is wrong. Because then I tell them, ask them to join immediately. Because many people, except a few professionals, nobody uses this tense. It looks very odd. And based on that, they think something is wrong with the sentence. First, let us see the use. We should, and one of the reasons outside nobody uses future perfect tense. They substitute with future tense. We should use the future perfect tense to express an action that will be over or completed by a given time in future. By a given time in future, some action will be over, some action will be completed. For that action, we should use future perfect tense. I'll give an example. Imagine, or let us have a look at this example. I will have completed the syllabus by September. Imagine this is June, and June, July, August, September. I'm taking September. I say by September, some action will be over, some action will be completed. Usually, what people say, I will complete the syllabus by September. This is what people say outside. They use future tense. I will complete the work by Monday. I'll complete the construction of the house by 2028. But that is wrong. By a given time in future, some action will be over. We should use future perfect tense. And what is the pattern here? I will have completed. Will plus have plus verb, past participle form. And usually outside, when someone sees I will have completed, gets confused, thinks something is wrong, because they know only I will complete or I will be completing. They are not exposed to this particular sentence pattern. That is a problem. Here, I will have completed the syllabus by September. Imagine I will complete the syllabus in the month of August. August is the month the work will be over. By September, it will be over. Then I have to use future perfect. Look at the second example. She will have done the work by this time tomorrow. Will or shall plus have plus verb past participle form. This is a pattern. She will have done the work or she will have done the work by this time tomorrow. In one exam, they give a question. He will complete the construction of his house by 2028. He will complete the construction of his house by 2028. Many candidates thought nothing wrong with that. But the moment you see the preposition by, that is a clue for you. By plus time in future. Then you cannot use future tense, you have to use future perfect. And he will complete the construction of his house by 2028, wrong. What is the correct sentence? He will have completed the construction of his house by 2028. She will have done the work by this time tomorrow. I will give a practical example. Imagine you come here every day by 9:30. Tomorrow by 9:45. 9:30 a.m. you come to the institute. That is the usual time. Tomorrow, if you take 9:45, by the time this action of coming to the institute will be over, it will be completed. Because what is the time we are talking? By 9:45, but the action will be completed by 9:30. And how do you express that in English? Come, came, come. Come is a past participle form. I will have come. I will have come to the institute by 9:45. My time is 9:30, so I will say I will have come by 9:45. But nobody says that outside. What do they say? I will come by 9:45. This is a typical sentence used by a lot of people. Except a few professionals, no one uses future perfect. And future perfect goes with written English, formal English, and rarely conversational English, if at all, only by professionals. And written and formal English, where is it used? While projecting the figures, statistical data like population, turnover of a company. Imagine the present turnover of the company is 200 crores. They want to project. This is 2025. By 2030, 2030 given time by future. Then they will say the, the annual turnover of the company as of now is 200 crores. The company will have reached, the company will have achieved 300 crores by 2030. Will have achieved, will have reached 300 crores by 2030. By 2030 is a clue for you. Then will have reached. This is an important tense you have to remember. Let us go to the exercise based on some of these. He is writing a letter since yesterday. The moment you see, I always tell students, when you see the preposition since and for, you have to think of two tenses. One, present perfect tense, the other one, present perfect continuous. Here already it is in the continuous form. Which continuous is it? Present continuous. That is not correct. We have to use present perfect continuous. So what is the correct one? She is writing is not correct. We have to say she has been writing. She has been writing a letter since yesterday. Since yesterday, that goes into past. Past, present, and future. She has been writing a letter. Sentence number two, they launched the product before the MD came. They should have waited for the MD. There are two actions that happened in the past. First one, they launched the product. Second one, MD came. But first one should be in past perfect, second one in past tense. Nothing wrong before the MD came. This is correct. But they launched the product is not correct. It is in past, it should be in past perfect. They had launched. They had launched the product before the MD came. Had this past perfect is very important because in many competitive exams they gave questions based on past perfect. I'll say something, listen carefully. I had had my breakfast before I came here. And when I ask this question, many students think spontaneously something is wrong because they see I had had my breakfast before I came here. The moment they see had, they think something is wrong. I had, but nothing wrong with this. Which tense is this? Past perfect tense. And here we have two actions. One, having breakfast. Second, coming here. First action, we should use past perfect. Here, this is only a function. Here, it means a verb past participle form. It means what? Past participle form. It means eaten. Eat, ate, eaten. If someone says, I had eaten my breakfast, you don't get confused. But if someone says, I had had my breakfast, you find it a little confusing. And using your logic, you may think it is wrong. Nothing wrong with this. The sentence is absolutely perfect. They have given in many competitive exams. They may give in past conditional, they may give the interrogative form, then also not easy to handle. Very important. Coming to question number 3, he completed the work before he went out. So same problem. What is a clue for you before, by the time, when, after? First action, second action. Nothing wrong with the second action. It is in past. But first action should be in past perfect. Then what is the correct sentence? He had completed the work before he went out. Not easy under pressure, a word of caution. You got to read meticulously, understand the context. Only then you can. Question number 4. He was teaching chemistry for 2 years when I met him. This is very difficult under pressure, but there is a clue. What is the clue here? For 2 years. For 2 years is a time period. Whenever you see a time period for some action that was going on in the past, do remember we should use past perfect continuous, not past continuous. Based on that, he was teaching is not correct. It should be he had been teaching. He had been teaching chemistry for 2 years when I met him. Imagine for 2 years he's not there. Then we should use past continuous. The first use of past continuous. What is that? Something happened in the past, that time something was going on. We use it to express an action that was going on when something else happened in the past. He was teaching chemistry when I met him. Nothing wrong. But the moment we mention the time period for 2 years, we should shift to past perfect continuous. She will reach Bangalore by this time tomorrow. Imagine buses start at night in Hyderabad. They reach Bangalore in the morning about 7:30. Now the time, imagine the time is 9. What is the time the buses reach Bangalore? 7 a.m. We are talking at 9 a.m. Keeping that in mind, we say she will reach Bangalore by this time tomorrow. There's a clue for you. By this time tomorrow, some action will be over. Then we cannot use she will reach. That is future. We have to use future perfect. What is the correct one? She will have reached. Only a few can answer these questions. She will have reached Bangalore by this time tomorrow. Usually people say she will reach. That is not correct. Let us go to the next one. How long are you working for this company? This is a common error. Usually people make a mistake. They say, where are you working? That is not correct. Where are you working talks about the place. I'm working in the kitchen, I'm working in the garden, I'm working in some place. But when you talk about the company, you have to ask a question like, which company do you work for? Who do you work for? Or whom do you work for? Which company do you work for is the best thing. Then the person may say, I work for Microsoft, I work for IBM. Here, how long? How long goes with present perfect continuous. Based on that, how long have you been? How long have you been working for that company? How long have you been working for this company? It is present perfect continuous. Actions begin in the past, come to the present, may go into future. I went to that office after I had confirmed information. I went to that office, nothing wrong. The clue for you, after. After, when you use after, then you have to think of past perfect. Two actions in the past, second action past tense, first action past perfect. But position changes. I had confirmed. I had confirmed information. Nothing wrong with this sentence. I had confirmed the information would have been better. Or if you take without the, then how does it go? I went to that office after I had confirmed. I had confirmed information. Then confirmed becomes I had what? Confirmed information. Confirmed becomes adjective. Confirmed information. Information noun, confirmed information, confirmed adjective. I had confirmed information. We have to use past perfect. She had breakfast before she came here. I have already given that example. So what do you say here? She had breakfast before she came here. First action, we should use past perfect. She had breakfast before she came here. They have been playing tennis ever since they got married. They have been playing tennis. present perfect continuous. We use since for, sometimes we use ever since, so far with present perfect and present perfect continuous. Based on that, they have been playing tennis since when? Ever since they got married. Nothing wrong with the sentence. Sentence number 9 is perfect, grammatically, contextually. I have explained all these rules. After this session, we'll continue with the number, appropriate number. Thank you very much.